Hey there, this is Shobit, founder of Intentional Product Manager. I was actually talking for the last 2 minutes, but I realized I hadn't hit the start session button. So I got a practice run of what I was going to say. Cool. Welcome everyone who's joined. These sessions I typically try to keep them limited to about 15 minutes. The goal is to get everyone to learn something new and try to apply them this week itself. And we will come back next week or week after and learn something new again. So constant learning. Now, typically I focus on one practice as a product manager. Today it's a little meta. And by the way, if you I want to make sure you can hear me and see me, so just say something in the chat if you can hear me. That would be really awesome to know. So it's all about habits, and I realized for the longest time I've always tried to build up my habits and try to improve how I'm doing various things, but I've done it from a place of using willpower to do that, which is great. I mean, you can use willpower, but that's just like using one weapon in the arsenal that you have of how you can build better habits. So today I'm going to talk through various ways with which you can start to build really awesome habits. And give me just 1 second as I pull up my notes. I took a whole bunch of notes for this webinar. So a lot of this is based on 2 books. If anybody here wants to go and learn more about this, you certainly can. Those 2 books are, one is The Power of Habit by, I believe the author's name is Charles Duhigg, but I might be wrong. But if you Google the Power of Habit or look it up on Amazon, you'll certainly find that. And now the second piece here is the second book is called Atomic Habits. It's one that has strongly influenced my own thinking about habits and how I go to establish those. So again, if you're inclined to learn more, go ahead and pick up that book. It's something that's really awesome, and I highly recommend that book. Cool. Sorry, one more second. It's taking a while for me to find this these notes. Aha, here they are. Cool. So for habits, I'm going to talk about 5 main things. So first of all, your habits link with your identity, how you see yourself. What habits are doing, they're reinforcing that. They're basically you're essentially casting a vote for your identity based on or what is the habits you're adopting. So for example, if you want to adopt a habit of exercise, first step is set your identity as I'm an athlete. I don't do exercise, I'm an athlete. And reinforce that every day. So I have personally for myself 8 statements that I read every morning, which tend to anchor my identity and help the habits that I'm building. And then it's a loop, right? So the more you build, the more you reinforce that, and then you add in those great habits, the more reinforcement the identity gets, and it just keeps improving over time. That's like the fundamental thing you can do to start to establish better habits. But then there's the 4 things you can do to treat habits as a design exercise and not just use willpower, but use these design elements. And here's those 4. I'll say them, and then I'll explain what they are. So the 4 ones are: make them obvious, make them attractive, make them easy, and make them satisfying. And right now, this all seems just like a bunch of words, so I'll get into what these are. So make it obvious. The core thing here is just you should have some sort of an implementation intention on when you're going to go do this habit. It could be a date and time that every morning at 5:30 a.m., I go and work out, and that's set. Or it could be something that's tied to another habit that you already have. So, for example, when I try to really establish the habit of meditation, I tried a whole bunch of things and they all kind of crapped out, didn't work. And then I said, okay, every morning I'm going to make coffee. I'm going to pour the coffee in a cup. I'm going to set the cup down, let the coffee cool down to a temperature I like. Takes about 10 minutes. That's the 10 minutes for meditation. I've almost never missed that because it's anchored in a habit that I already have. So you have to find those right opportunities so that it is obvious that this is the time that you go need to do that habit. And there's other ways also, just environmental clues you can use to build up these habits. An example of this was when I wanted to take up yoga. You're seeing a lot of like exercise and meditation examples here. Um, all I did was I took the yoga mat, and the way my house is structured, there's the living room, and on top of that is our bedroom, and it's big because of the design of the house. So I just laid it out, and I told my wife that please don't put this away, let it be out here. And every time I walk back and forth, I could see it. So it was very obvious that that's a habit I need to go do. I need to do yoga so many times a week. And that was one way of just making it obvious that habit needs to happen. Cool. So that was number one, make it obvious. Number two is make it attractive. And I'm borrowing a lot from a book called Atomic Habits here. The attractive piece is all around, in some sense, making it so that it's immediately rewarded. And the way to do that is you tie the habit that you need to do with something that you want to do. And for me, the example was when I wanted to take up learning this book that was kind of dense. There was that, and then also, oh yeah, the example I really remember is when I wanted to take on going on the treadmill more often, and also doing weights twice a week. I just tied that to watching one of my favorite TV shows. Very simple. I want to watch that TV show, but I can't unless I'm doing those two habits. And that really helped cement those two habits because what gets rewarded right away, like that gets done. So that's another way you can start to anchor habits. The third thing is making them easy. So very often when we try to establish something new, right, what we want to do is, oh yeah, I want to do everything. I want to become a better public speaker. So I'm going to go and like speak 7 times a week or something like that. And then you start losing momentum. And before you know it, that habit's gone. But what if the only habit you wanted to establish was, I'm going to talk for 1 minute every day and use public speaking techniques in that 1 minute? That is so much easier. And the thing is that most of the friction comes at the start. So if you have a small habit that begins that bigger habit that you're trying to achieve, you're much more likely to get that done and then just keep going. So for example, if you're looking to, let's say, um, do better meetings, run better meetings at work. I teach that in my class quite a bit. It's one of the most popular topics. And what I tell my students is, how about just an habit of you walk into the room and you just raise a question of, what are we here for? Or how would this meeting be considered successful? Just start with that. And if you start with that, you'll start seeing some success. That's an easier habit to start doing. And then people normally build on that momentum and start doing other things. So just start with something as simple as what is the one thing that you could do that's small that gets that habit started? Excellent. And now, last but not least, make the habit something that gives you satisfaction. So this is about the end of the habit. We've spoken a lot about making it easy so that you get started, making it attractive so that you look forward to it. But this is about the end of the habit, because we as humans, we don't remember experiences fully. We tend to mostly count the beginning, the ending, and certain key moments of the experience that stand out to you. So the last piece, which is about making it satisfactory, is how you end the habit. The more you satisfaction you get, the more you're likely to repeat that habit in the future. The simplest way here is, of course, to have some sort of habit tracker. So, you could use like a some sort of habit tracking app that you check it off, and that checking off gives that satisfaction. And now you're likely to repeat it. By the way, confession: I have in the past done a task, then added it to my to-do list and checked it off, just to get that satisfaction of having checked off that item. So habit tracker works the same way. You could use other ways, like for example, for me, I go to a spin class once a week, and a reward is often like the socializing and chatting I do when that spin class ends, and that's kind of fun catch up with people. But I try to keep it as like the reward I get at the end, and that makes me go repeat the habit. And this also could be true for bad habits, that you might actually be doing a habit because you get some other reward with it. So an example is is like, as somebody gave an examples of, like, they would go have dessert at a certain point in time during the day, and they wanted to give it up, but what they were really getting was the socializing that came with the dessert. So they were like, okay, can I maybe just keep the socializing but get rid of the habit? So that's another way of looking at it. All these levers also apply for bad habits that are currently going on for you. So I'll sum up. You can apply these within the next week, and this can become your anchor for applying all these different product management practices or any habits that you want to build. And the levers are: number one, the meta thing is all about reinforcing your identity that you want to build towards. And don't say that I want to exercise more. Say that I want to become an athlete. That's the identity you're building towards. And then the 4 triggers you can use to build these habits are: number one, make it obvious. Have some sort of place and time or environmental clue that makes the habit happen. Second is make it attractive, something that you look forward to because it's tied to something else that you like to do. Third is make it easy. Just have the first 30 seconds laid out well, so that becomes your habit, and then everything else just flows from there. And last but not least, make it satisfactory. Do something that gives you satisfaction at the end of the habit tracker, socializing, whatever works for you, and then you'll likely follow through. You'll likely repeat that habit. That's all I have today. Any questions, feel free to ask me now, or you have my email, shobitchug@shobitchug.com. I am currently enrolling my my product management habits mastermind class. I think I close enrollment on Tuesday. There's a few slots left. So if you're interested, just go to intentionalproductmanager.com, and on the right, you'll see course, and you can go there and enroll. And if you're watching a replay and it's past that deadline, you might see a wait list for next time's session, which will probably be sometime in 2020 that I'll open it up again. So if you do get it in now and you want to go and focus on your habits as a product manager, this is your opportunity to go and do that. Perfect. Have a great week, everyone. And I look forward to seeing you again the next time I do this webinar, probably next week, although I'll be in Switzerland for a conference, so might do it the week after. Take care and have an awesome week, and hope you build certain key habits that keep you going. Bye bye.